everybody. A very warm welcome to PSTV Live. And today, here I am again, Sapna Mahadevan, welcoming all of you to this episode of the Stand Up Comedy Vertical, right? Let us look at stand out at stand up comedy, explore yourself at a comic level, right? And coming up, we are having a lot of interesting segments curated for our wonderful audience for today. Here they are. We will speak about what is stand-up comedy, little bit about its concept. Then we have a scenario to explore. Of course, it would be linked to one of the subtopics that we are going to explore and understand for today, right? And let me tell you, this is going to be really interesting today because it is about the English language. Yes, so humor can be derived from anything and everything, and that's how you're going to see this come true and live in front of you in today's episode. Yes, we have different tips and tricks, a crossword segment, some icebreaker questions, quiz time, right? And all of these segments put together is going to be a lot of learning for all of you. And today I'm going to again start with one icebreaker segment. This icebreaker is all about understanding the name of the movie through the pictures. Yes, so let's look at the first segment for the day. This is movie title trivia, and you need to name these famous comedy movies, right? Yes, so I am going to show you some pictures on the screen here. Try and give me the name of the movie. This is the first one that we have, and of course the characters, we know these are aliens, so the name is also related to this character here. Just think about this and let me know in the chat box what is the name of this popular movie. I'm going to wait for a couple of answers here. There are a lot of hello messages in the chat box. Prerna, thanks a lot for your comment there. It is total fun having an interaction with all of you lovely people. And today's episode, let me tell you, there's a piece of my heart attached to today's episode because it is about the English language and we are deriving humor out of it. Yes, so we look at when we go further ahead into the episode, how this can be done, and you can take a lot of inspiration from it as well, right? And for now, I have answers in the chat box and those are correct. Of course, it is aliens in the attic. Here it is. That's correct. And let's move ahead to the second picture for the day. Here we have it. Okay, so another E.T. kind of a character there. Johnny Depp starring in, what is the name of the movie? Rango, that's correct. Yes, that's the name of the movie there. Thanks again. Let's move ahead to our third and final movie picture for the day. Brace yourselves for this one. Do let me know the correct answers. There you go. So again, some interesting characters come up there on the screen. Does anyone know the name of this popular movie? Asha says good vibes. Thanks for that. And I think let me reveal the answer out to you. This is the name of the movie is Rumble, right? Now, with those three movies in our icebreaker starter, I'm going to quickly move ahead and whiz past through the definition of what is stand-up comedy, right? Only for my newer viewers here, let me bring this out again, that stand-up comedy is a performing art where the comedian performs in front of a live audience. They have certain jokes that they have pre-written with a lot of structure. It could have one-liners and it could have a particular theme that it follows maybe. And there is the use of surprising punchlines as well. And all of this makes it really laughing stock. Yes. So the comedian performs in front of a live audience and the motive is to make people laugh their heads off. In a stand-up comedy performance, the average show gets 4 to 6 laughs a minute from the audience. And Also, let me tell you that today's subtopic for the day is wit comedy, right? Now, as you understand from that name, wit itself, it is a comedy which is an intelligent form, and the comedian here is able to write or present something that is cleverly funny, and it is called wit comedy, right? So, just by the name, we understand that wit would be intelligence and clever. And so, wherever we derive humor out of some witty and cleverly put answers or retorts, maybe, then it is called wit comedy. And it includes subtle manipulation of the language, puns, and also comparisons. So, wordplay, puns, witty banter, clever answers that people give to questions posed to them, all of this would be categorized into wit comedy, right? So today we have the subtopic of wit comedy, and I'm also going to let you know on the scenario. But before that, let's move ahead to our very first icebreaker question for the day. And here it comes. Okay, so the very first icebreaker question: do you have an imaginary friend? If yes, then what is his, her, or their name? Right? So that's the first question in our icebreaker. Do you have an imaginary friend? First of all, give me answers to that. Little children, we always see, have imaginary friends that they talk to. Yes, and it's somewhat like a pep talk that they can have with people or friends who are just imaginary. Yes. So, do you have an imaginary friend? Is the question here. Asha says yes. Okay. My daughter has one. Okay. And it is her teddy bear. Okay. Her teddy bear is Asha's daughter's imaginary friend. Great, isn't it? How kids can have all this weird imagination, and they can follow it up through, right? So wonderful. Yes, is another comment that I get there. Lovely. Bijal says no. Great. So having an imaginary friend is really fun, isn't it? Audience members who have given yes and an affirmative answer in the chat box, I think they would really be glad to have an imaginary friend, isn't it? Lovely. Thanks again for all the emojis, for all the love and the likes. And let's move ahead to the scenario for the day, right? This is the most important part of today's episode with comedy. It is day 2 today, and scenario is English, the mystery language. And once we move ahead with our episode, you're going to quickly understand why I am calling this the mystery language. Yes. And there's always an old saying that you would have heard: there is humor in everything, just that you would have to have an eye to see it, right? So today, with our scenario of English language being a mystery language, we are going to give you a lot of examples as well in how you can be writing your joke material and bringing it out to the public, right? Now, people who are really beginners of learning the language, and also people who are adept at it, all of them are going to relate to this topic when we have those examples put out, right? So that was the scenario, English, the mystery language, and let's see how we can derive humor out of it, right? Now, moving ahead, we have establishing the essentials. And let me bring out the 4 definite elements which are prerequisites in writing every stand-up comedy act, right? So these are the 4 elements that we have already been aware of in each of our stand-up comedy episodes. So these 4 elements are not specific to any particular subgenre, but it is general to all of the stand-up comedy genres. And the 4 elements are opening, bits, transitions, and the closer. Yes. So one by one, we are going to delve deeper into each of these essentials and give you more detail as to how you can be writing comedy material out of it. Yes. So let me first bring out the opening segment here. There it is. Yes. So recollect that the scenario was English, the mystery language. Yes. And the opening, how can you start with your comedy act, right? Now, whether you have been speaking English from day one, or you're just a beginner learning the language, this scenario is something we all will relate to. Many feel that it is a daily struggle to make a simple sentence in English. No wonder why people have started conversing with the use of emojis. Yes. So that is how you can be starting about talking about the English language, maybe, and giving your audience a premise of what is the main topic all about, right? Now, in the opening, let me show you one example. Here it is. Okay, so we are going to catch up with the scenario. So when I told you that making a simple sentence also can be a struggle for some people, it is because of this. See here the example that we have. The narrator could be talking to his audience about this particular rule in English language. Place the word only anywhere in the sentence and see the meaning change. That too drastically. The sentence is, she told him that she loved him. Now let us look at the examples. You can place the word only anywhere in the sentence and it's going to change the whole meaning of the sentence. Yes? Not sure about this? Let me show it to you in our next slide. Here it comes. Just look at how we have placed the word only in different parts of the sentence. So for example, only she told him that she loved him. She only told him that she loved him. She told only him that she loved him. She told him that only she loved him. She told him that she loved him only. See, with that word only there, we can actually change the meaning of the sentence, and that too drastically. Yes, did you get that? Do give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you got what I meant with this mystery English language, right? And that's why making a sentence itself could be a big struggle for people, right? Now, that was how you can be opening your act with this scenario, English the mystery language, right? And now let me move ahead to the next, that is the second element for the day, which is called bits, right? Now, let's move ahead to the next segment. And bits are jokes that the comedians place in their comedy setup. And what we saw with the opening was just the starting. There are still so many puzzling mysteries unsolved, right? And let's look at another catching up with the scenario for the bits. Here it is. So the scenario here is pondering over pronunciation. Excuse me. So as I told you, the scenario was pondering over pronunciation. And this is one puzzling trivia that I'm going to give you out here. If WOMB is pronounced womb and TOMB is pronounced tomb, shouldn't bomb be pronounced boom? That's the bit that you can be placing next. Again, English is definitely a mystery language, and that gets proven with this pronunciation pondering, right? Now, like this, you could have a number of bits placed in your comedy set so that it gives people the laughter and also makes them understand that you're talking about the same theme and actually essentially wrapping up all of those elements into that one theme, right? Do not baffle your audiences with by not having a structure to your jokes. Have a particular order in which you are going to place those bits, and for that the third essential element is again really crucial. So let me bring about the third element here. There you go. The third element is called the transitions. And here, what we mean by this is you need to follow up material from one joke to the other in such a way that there is no hiccup, right? So transitions could be told as short conversational bridges that connect one joke to the other. There's an easy and smooth flow that happens, and the audience can clearly comprehend where you're coming from and where you're going to, right? So that's what transition is all about. And today, again, here in the third element, let's look at one of these examples and move ahead with our comedy routine. Yes, here is the next joke that we have, catching up with the scenario for the transitions. And let's look at the emphasis game, right? And let me tell you, emphasizing means to stress on some of the important words in a way that audience, you can grab the audience's attention, right? But who knew that it has so much power? Emphasize different words in the sentence. I didn't say she stole my purse, and see the magic, right? So let me bring that out to you. Um, we have this sentence here. I didn't say she stole my purse. Now, it totally depends on which is the word that I'm going to emphasize. That is, which is the word that I'm going to add force to and stress upon. And also, by doing this, the whole meaning of the sentence is going to change. Let me show that to you. I didn't say she stole my purse. 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 See, all of the sentences have a different meaning. First one said that it was not I who said that she had stolen the purse. Then we said, I I did not say that she was the one who stole the purse. The purse has been stolen, but I did not say that she was the one, right? Then we said, I didn't say she stole my purse. So purse has been stolen, that is for sure, but it was not mine, right? Now, when I say, I didn't say she stole my purse. Now, what I'm saying she has stolen something, but I did not say that it was my purse. So the object is that the one thing that I am stressing upon, right? So now you see how different words, when you emphasize and stress upon in the English language, the meaning of the whole sentence is going to change. Even if all of the words that you have written for each of these sentences is exactly the same, even then, emphasizing has so much power, right? So that is how we caught up with the scenario for our transitions. I'm having a lot of smileys come up there. That's lovely. Yes, there are so many sentences. So Richa tells me there are so many sentences that we can be doing this with, and that is true. So the point here is that English is a mystery language, and you can definitely derive humor from anything and everything, right? So that's how you can be placing the third bit of your comedy routine into this act. And now we move ahead to the last one for the day, and that's the most baffling, right? Let me bring this out to you. Here it is, the last one, that is the final element in our essentials, which is the closer. Yes, so the closer is going to be the final joke of your set. Try inserting a donut effect, which is going to connect back to one of the earlier jokes that you cracked, or maybe try having a joke which is really funny, and it's going to make the audiences laugh aloud while they leave your venue. Yes, so that's the closer. We want to have a lasting impression with the audience. And how can we be doing that? Here is the scenario to be uh, seen for the closer. Yes, now for the closer, how can one word have two meanings, that two which are the opposites? So sometimes these words are called contronyms, but let me bring that out to you. It's really baffling. This may sound quite egregious. Wondering what egregious means? Let me show that to you. This is what Google tells me. Egregious is an adjective which means outstandingly bad or shocking. But the archaic meaning of this, that means in old times, the meaning of egregious was remarkably good. So what do you take this as? Outstandingly bad or remarkably good? Isn't that baffling? Yes, so that's one word for you, egregious, right? So one word having same spelling but different meanings, and that too, the meanings are its own opposites, right? So that was the word. You can jot that down. It's really interesting. Share this trivia with your friends and family members, and they are surely going to be impressed. That's the word, the first one, egregious. And let's move ahead. I am nonplussed by learning this about the English language. Confused, baffled, or unperturbed? What is nonplussed? Let me show you that. Here it is. This is again from Google. Nonplussed is again an adjective, and it means being so surprised and confused that one is unsure how to react. But informally in Northern America, nonplussed can also be used as unperturbed or not disconcerted, which means not confused at all. So, do you use this in a sentence saying that you were confused, or do you use it as saying that you were unperturbed? Isn't that baffling enough? So these were the two words that we had, egregious and nonplussed. If you're not sure of this, go ahead and check this out in Google, right? So yes, this was the third and final closer that you can be doing. Along with that, since this was an interesting subject, I have some other words for you which proves this point. Here, some more examples to baffle you. One of the words is buckle. Buckle would mean to fasten together or to collapse from pressure. Dust. Remove the dust or to dust the bookshelf. Overlook. What will you use it as? To watch or to fail to notice. Off. OFF. Now, would it be not operating? That is, in the sense of when you say to someone, turn off the light, so do not operate it, or operating, the alarm went off. Yes, totally confusing. So, these are some of the words that we have in the English language which can be used in opposite ways as well. And that's why it is baffling, right? So, this was the closer that we had. There are so many examples that you can find in the internet maybe, and some of the examples that you might have come across yourself. You can put all of this together, make a bouquet of all of the mysterious English language circumstances, and then present that out to your audience in a fun way. So are you convinced now that English is really a mystery language? So much to learn, isn't it? Yes. So, with those four elements here, we have concluded with the essential part of our episode for today. And let me now move ahead to the next segment. Here it is. So, we saw all of these examples, and now we move ahead to the next segment, which is quiz time. And I can see so many smileys coming up here in the chat box. Thanks again for all of that. And I know I have piqued your interest with this. So, do research on all of these elements that we spoke about, right? Great. There are thumbs ups coming up here. Lovely. So now we move ahead to the quiz time. And the first question for our quiz time is, what is the hardest natural substance? That's the first question in our quiz time. Do let me know answers to this one. What is the hardest natural substance? You might have all learned this in your school. Any answers coming up here? Let me give that to you. The hardest natural substance is diamond. Yes. Now moving ahead to the second question. Here we are. Which state was the 50th one to join the Union? Which state was the 50th state to join the Union? Okay, so Pranav gives me the correct answer. That's right. It is Hawaii. And kudos to you, Pranav, for that answer there. Lovely. So these were the two quiz time questions that we had in today's episode. And now let's move ahead to some of the expert tips here. One of the expert tips in establishing the essentials. Let me bring that out to you. Here it is. So you can skim your life for the unusual events and activities that you can't believe you were a part of, or that people can't believe you were a part of, then write about it. Yes, we all have certain situations and circumstances in our life where we have been a part of weird activities, weird rituals, maybe anything that comes to your mind, any unusual, bizarre event, right? And you can maybe talk about that to your audiences. So, like always, we tell you in our tips and tricks segment that you need to loosen up a bit and do not be self-conscious while you're talking with your audience, because your audience wants a real connect with you, right? So maybe you can think about your past experiences and talk to them about unusual events and weird behaviors that you would have been a part of, right? Now, this is one expert tip, and it would be really helpful for the topic that you're going to choose for your comedy set, right? And after this expert tip here, I'm going to now move ahead to the next segment. And this is one of the icebreaker questions, which is, how was your first tooth falling experience? Do let me know in the chat box as a child, maybe when you were 6 or 7. How was your first tooth falling experience? Did the tooth fairy really come? And what did you feel about it? What do you recollect about your childhood, as to whether it was convincing for you that the tooth fairy had taken away your tooth, or you knew that it was all a facade? Okay, so I get one answer here: believed in tooth fairies. That's great. We all did, isn't it? Painful is another comment that I get here. Okay. Scary. Yes, sometimes it is scary as well, right? Scary and painful. Believed in tooth fairies. So, childhood was a time full of innocence, isn't it? Great. Thanks again for all of those answers there and for your participation. And now let's move ahead to our next segment. Here, let me show you. It is solve the riddle. Test your IQ by solving these riddles, right? Here is the first one for the day. David's parent have 3 sons: Snap, Crackle, and what's the name of the third son? That's the riddle, and I'm testing your IQ with this one. David's parents have 3 sons: Snap, Crackle, and what's the name of the third son? Quickly in the chat box. There's a think emoji I get. Okay. I thought you'll get all the answers. It's quite a common one these days, right? One question mark. David. Yes, of course. David is the name of the son because David's parents has had 3 sons, right? Yes. With that, those were the riddles that we had. And let me now move ahead to another of our expert tips segment here. There you go. Expert tips and tricks. So the first one, when it comes to solving the puzzles that are our jokes, draw on every area of knowledge, expertise, and talent. It's so gratifying to use a fact, a lesson, or a memory from elementary school, high school, or elsewhere to fill in the joke, right? So, similarly, we saw in our scenario as well. You can think about the various witty answers that maybe your friends would have given to some English questions, and those could be also witty scenarios that you can be including in your wit comedy act, right? So, these are expert tips here. Think about all the inspiration that you can draw or from your memory, what you can recollect about high school or elementary school, and fill in the joke with all of those real life experiences as well, right? Now, the second one here is some of your best ideas will come to you in the shower. Does anyone feel that? Do let me know in the chat box. But every one of us have certain activities that are calming, and we think that doing that particular activity is going to build up on our creativity as well, right? So whatever works for you, you can maybe visit that place frequently. If it is a park or a natural environment where your creativity gets a boost, maybe go ahead. And here we feel that the best ideas come to you in the shower. There's a science behind why this happens. And get a shower notepad if you have trouble remembering your ideas. Don't listen to music, listen to your thoughts, and ruminate on the new joke or the new set that you're going to develop, right? So this is again another expert tip that we have for plotting your plot of the comedy joke. So you definitely can think about the topic first, and then whichever is the place where you think that your creativity gets a boost, you can go ahead, have a notepad handy, ponder over what is the subject that you would want to build up for your topic. We can also think about all the interesting characters, funny characters that you can pick and choose, maybe hilarious situations that you can add on to your plot, right? And all of these can be done better if you ruminate on a new joke and a new set that you want to produce for your comedy act, right? So these are expert tips here. I hope you had a lot of learning with these expert tips and with today's scenario that we saw. Now we have two more segments to play up here. Do stay tuned in. The first segment that I'm going to play up here is joke time. Here it is. Joke number one, laugh your heads off with this bee in splits. These are again jokes about the English language. Now, the joke is English is a difficult language. It can be understood through tough, thorough thought, though. Right? That's how we have five words there, all of them confusing in itself and put together in one sentence. How witty is that, right? It can be understood through tough, thorough thought, though. Right now, that was the first joke there, a pun and a word play with all of these five similar words, similar sounding and similar spelling words, th words, right? But definitely putting the point across very well. Yes, so that's what wit comedy is all about. And let's move ahead now to joke number two. Here it is. When I was a kid, my teacher looked my way and said, "Name two pronouns." I said, "Who, me?" That was wonderful, isn't it? Witty. So I get a smiley there. Who, me, both are pronouns. And the student is also kind of like asking, who, me? Right? So again, you see how witty jokes can be. And only if you're adding intelligent answers, intelligent retorts to questions, this can be categorized into wit comedy. Yes, as I told you in the starting as well, wit comedy derives humor from intelligent and clever dialogues, wordings, or even banter between friends. And you can see this particular example in these jokes as well. Right now, we have the third and the last joke for you. Stay back, relaxed, and listen to this. Joke number three. Whoever put the letter B in the word subtle deserves a pat on the back. Now, what was that? Can anyone tell me what type of joke was that? How can anyone think of putting B in subtle, right? The silent letter. Silent letters in the English language are again another baffling subject that we can talk about, isn't it? What kind of joke was it, was the question. Any answers? Let me tell you, that was sarcasm, right? The person who puts B, who invented maybe the spelling of the word subtle, I don't know whoever that was, however the language developed. So B in subtle, that person deserves a pat on their back, and that's sarcasm, right? So yes, with all of those three jokes, I hope you all had real fun in today's episode. Let's move ahead to the last one for the day, and here we have it. This is locate the words, as we always have in our last segment in our episodes. So, in locate the words, I'm going to show you a letter maze, and you need to recollect all the things that we spoke about in today's episode, and all the words that you can find in the letter maze are all from today's episode, right? So, that's the hint here. So, find out the hidden words, look closely into this letter maze, and give me the correct answers. I'm going to give you only 1 minute to be doing this. So you need to be quick and on your toes. There are 4 words that you can find in this letter maze, and it could be written horizontally, vertically, or even diagonally. Okay, I get one word here, lesson. Think, yes, that's correct again. Lesson and think. Repeat answers coming up there. Lesson, think. 2 more to go. Shower, yes, that's correct again. Asha gives me all the 3, lesson, think, and shower, and there's one more left. So Should I reveal the answer out? Some of these slides, I don't have them here. There's a technical glitch, but I will read out all of the answers for you. There's lesson, and then there is shower and think. I'm sorry, the last one is not here, but let me tell you, it is tonight. You can see tonight written horizontally in the last row. Did you get that? Tonight in the last row written horizontally. Yes, so thanks for that thumbs up there. Great. So those were the 4 words that we had in today's Locate the Word segment. Lesson, tonight, shower, and think. Lovely. So with that, we come to the end of our episode for today. I hope you all had great fun in today's episode, learning about different struggles of the English language. And let me bring you to the next segment, which is At a Glance. And let's round up whatever we learned about wit comedy, right? So here today, our scenario was English language and its various mysteries. And we saw how emphasizing could be really powerful, because by emphasizing on different words in a sentence, we get the whole meaning gets changed drastically, right? Similarly, we saw how by adding the word only in different parts of the sentence, again, the meaning changes. Yes. Now, after that, we had another scenario where we looked at pondering over pronunciation. So we saw if WOMB is pronounced as womb, TOMB is pronounced as tomb, then why is not bomb pronounced as boom, right? And that was really hilarious. After that, we also saw another peculiar segment in today's episode for the closer, which is also called contronyms, and these are words in the English language which are similar in pronunciation, similar in spelling, but they have 2 different meanings, and also those meanings are exactly the opposite of each other, right? So we saw 2 words there, egregious and nonplus, and also a couple of other words which baffled us, isn't it? So that was what we had for today's episode, where we saw the opening bits, transition, and the closer, all of these 4 elements, how we tied it up all together with the scenario, and gave you a brilliant set that you can take inspiration from, right? So for our project work here, I would want all of you to implement all that you learned today and draft your very own wit comedy script. And let me tell you, initially it sounds a bit daunting, but once you put pen to paper and whisk out your creativity, I'm sure that you're going to get great laughing material. Yes, it's only about having patience and perseverance. Even great comedians, they always practice their act uh, many a times before they perform in front of the audience, and that is how they perfect their craft, right? So if you are a beginner at stand up comedy, then you definitely need to pull up your socks, be a little serious about this, and practice, keep on practicing, try writing newer jokes, and edit it, maybe tweak the jokes later on once you have performed it in front of your loved ones and you have gotten some valuable feedback from them, right? So that's the project work here. Keep practicing is the mantra that you should be following with stand up comedy, right? And with that, we come to the end of today's episode. Let me tell you, for tomorrow, we'll be having tips and tricks. These are best tips and tricks that we can offer you about the stand-up comedy performances. We have been seeing the tips and tricks episode every Thursdays or Fridays, and a whole lot of information that we can take back home from these episodes as well, right? So tomorrow it's going to be a general session. We do not have any particular genre that we are going to look into, but various tips and tricks that you can maybe inculcate into your acting, or maybe into your writing process of the joke material. And that is how you can take inspiration from a lot of tips that comedians themselves have offered to us, right? So with this, we come to the end of our episode for today. Hope you had a fun time listening out to the various humorous bits that we had about the English language. And I am Sapna Mahadevan signing out for today. Do take good care of yourselves and keep laughing. Bye bye.